There's a new Switch on the horizon. Microtransactions are stupid, and Toys R Us is being revived. That and more on today's episode of the Critical State Podcast. So with me today, I'm ThePackle, of course. If you do not already know that, I am the greatest of all time.
Oh, did you start?
Yes.
I was watching a YouTube video.
With me today, I have the wonderful
I just
Michael.
paused the video and you're like, with me today.
And Joe.
Hello. Let me just
Brilliant. Well, with me today, I have Joe and Michael. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
I'm fine. Did you say the bit about how we're trying something new today?
No, I went my own intro. I said fuck it with your intro and just did my own thing.
Okay. Well, okay. I feel offended now, but that's fine.
Well, it's fine. I liked your idea,
that's cool.
but I want to do my own take
That's
on
cool.
things because
That's chill.
I have that voice.
I don't mind. I'm not hurt. I'm not.
You're not hurt. Sure. But
So what are we doing today?
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of things. This will be a gaming podcast. First of hopefully many to come. This will be the first episode, so if you guys enjoy, obviously let us know.
You say that this is going to be the only one.
Yeah, this is gonna make the only podcast. Now, sorry,
We're going to forget to do one in 2 weeks, and then we're going to forget to do one ever again.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds
like
about
our update videos back in the old
So
days.
welcome to the one and only Critical Flail Gaming Podcast.
Critical State.
I hope you enjoy it. Critical Flail Gaming Podcast. CFGP. Because that rolls off the tongue.
Right. Anyways, yeah, we have a bunch of things to talk about. Before we get to that, what have you guys been playing? Because I've been playing like a bunch of Tony Hawk and shit like that, getting ready for AGDQ.
Oh, what a surprise.
Like,
I've
Medal of
been
Honor.
like mixing. Oh yeah. I remember you talking about that. But so I've been playing a lot of different things. I think I've been hyping up Devil May Cry 5, even though it's like 5 months away. So I've been playing a lot of 4. We played a little bit of Divinity here recently.
That went well, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
3 hours
No.
of editing files to make it so we could have 7+ people playing in the same server.
Because they're smart and they like to, they just released the definitive edition, so it's like, oh hey, all these mods for the regular edition, it doesn't state whether it's definitive or not unless they explicitly state it. So here I am trying to guess which ones work and which ones don't. So we got it half working.
It's kind of weird because with the Divinity Original Sin 2, they kind of made it 2 games, more or less. Like, there's enough changes and enough things that they've added and stuff like that it's pretty much 2 separate games, but they combined it all into one installer, but they still have the same, like, workshop on top of that. And while you can search straight for Definitive Edition stuff, or Classic Edition in this case, it's still a very finicky process. Like,
No, it's really janky. Everything looks like you can't. I don't know, man. I think that it's just really hard to differentiate the mods from definitive and classic. It just makes it a hassle trying to find out like what works and what doesn't work and what might work and what half works.
Well, I think that's just because it's so recent. In a couple of months.
Oh yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
way more clear.
that's fair.
I mean, no doubt, but I mean, even so, I mean, they could have at least separated the workshop between the two. There's no reason that,
or as they did with Original Sin 1, they kind of just made it 2 different things.
Yeah, personally, I'm offended they didn't make it a whole new game so that I could get the achievements again, like they did with the first one.
This man over here, he didn't know if he would like it. I buy it for him. Did I buy it for you? I think I did.
It was Kevin.
It was Kevin who bought it for you. Okay.
Somebody did.
Someone bought it for
Kevin.
you,
Very
and
generous,
then he
very
literally
generous
disappeared
boyfriend,
off the
Kevin.
face of the earth for like a week and a half.
Yeah, January 2018 was a weird one for me. I woke up from a dream about playing Divinity, and then I was like, I gotta play Divinity.
And then he got all the achievements. Most
And
of
that
them.
was day 3. Well, I've got 2 left, one of which I'm never gonna get, and
Which
the
one's
other
that
one
one?
is I've got to complete the. There's 2 ways of completing the Red Prince's like storyline thing, and I haven't done one of them, so I've got to do that.
Wait, what's the one that
No,
you
no.
will never get?
Honor
It's
mode.
the
Oh.
honor mode.
Oh,
No, we could do that. We could definitely.
I will
do that.
never get that legitimately. I never
bro,
will.
we have like 20 people on one server. We're gonna roll through auto mode. Like it's like we're gonna face roll
New
everybody.
series. New series.
Man, that's gonna be so broken. We get to the final boss and we're just gonna like one shot him. I mean, not like one turn him because
one
everyone
turn
has.
him.
Yeah, it's gonna be so.
Well,
stupid.
I mean that's why we're gonna have that mod that gives it modifies bosses, so we have more ads in them. So it clones multiple enemies within that fight.
Yeah, but what do you
For
think that
bosses.
slug fight's going to be like on Reaper's Coast?
Yes.
Because the thing is about honor mode is that once someone dies, it autosave, and the autosave overrides whatever manual save you have. So you can't reload.
So if
you
someone
can only
dies, are they permanently dead, or is it that you can?
No, if you
them?
wipe, it's over.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Iron Man.
everyone dies.
Okay. But if you have res
you're
scrolls, you
good.
can still do it. Okay.
The only way to get around it is by like doing the file editing thing, where you like save your save
file
and then reload it. But
that's a lot of work.
But if you don't do that and you die, then you're just dead until the fight's over. And if like there's only one person left and there's 100 slugs left, then that's the whole campaign.
Can we speak for a moment that I love it how they went through the effort of disabling achievements for if you ever use workstation,
yeah, that was weird
stuff. And then there's a mod to disable disabling, so you can get achievements with workshop, and they don't care. Like that's their philosophy. Like if you see the documentary, I can post it below.
It's weird that they had it in the first place when they didn't care.
Yeah, like their thing is, if you don't like it, just mod it out. Fuck it, whatever. Just do your thing. So that's
I think
cool.
The biggest thing is like that's going to be a lot of work to go out of your way to really prevent mods from affecting achievements.
Yeah, there are a couple
Skyrim
of
did the
companies
same
that
thing.
do that.
A special edition
No,
for
I don't
Skyrim
think
did that.
Skyrim did it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's right.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, but nobody. It's funny because what I thought was really interesting is that whenever they release a special edition, it's hilarious that they both have like almost the same exact player counts. If you check out the Steam charts, so they would still like Skyrim would still be up there, like really high up if they didn't separate it.
Yeah, if they didn't split the vote.
Yeah, it's so dumb how they did that.
Dark Souls too, like they kind of split it up.
Yeah. I think that ended up killing off Dark Souls multiplayer. Like the original.
I was watching a video
really
from someone else. They were talking about that. It was doing all right, like Prepare to Die edition was. Then Remastered came out. It split the community, and then both died. So it's like, well, shit. Good job, guys. You ruined the community on PC.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is they discontinued the Prepare to Die edition. You can't even buy it anymore off of Steam, which doesn't make any sense because some mods are broken.
I think the servers they're about to be shut down, so like you have to use the Remastered edition. Yeah, I remember reading that somewhere. I think I
guess that makes sense. Keeping up 2 lots of servers is probably not ideal.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's a little finicky what they're doing. But so what are you keeping up to, Joe?
I have been playing a lot of Cookie Clicker.
Oh my god!
How
long ago did that start? 5 years ago.
I recently started a new. What's it called? Where you go back to the beginning with more points, whatever that is. I prestiged.
There you go. Prestige mode. I was going to call it that.
I prestiged again.
He's prestige in Cookie Clicker.
About 120 million heavenly cookies. I think.
Well, that's currently Adventure Capitalist has that.
Yeah, I think I'm currently on like 200 decillion cookies, and I started about.
I'm not gonna lie. There was words that I never knew existed until I played Cookie Clicker and Adventure Capitalist.
Yeah,
I was
duodecillion, triodecillion.
It's like, what the fuck?
Nonillion.
It's like, goddamn, this is more money than we'll ever have in the history of humanity, right here.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. I have more money than anyone will ever have in cookies.
Oh, God.
Probably in like the Omniverse as well. On top of that,
I've been trying to get my 400 chance makers. That's been quite exciting. I've been going 10 at a time. I usually go 1 at a time, but I've been going 10 at a time, so because I'm risking it. So that's been quite cool and quite thrilling. So yeah, I've had a very fun gaming-filled, couple of weeks playing Cookie Clicker.
You haven't been playing anything else?
No.
I mean, fair enough. You can do you. I know you've been doing a little bit of editing and stuff like too on the side. So.
Yeah, I'm just itchy to get to editing again.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we have some more projects, but we're just so far ahead. That's the problem now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's always good to be far ahead because then when you say, "Hey, I'm way too far ahead," I can slack off some.
Last time that happened.
When I do that.
Well, me, as I alluded to at the start of this, I've been working on playing some Tony Hawk. I recently was in the California Fire Relief Marathon last week, did pretty decently. Wasn't the best time I've ever done, but it was enjoyment. A lot of people enjoyed watching the run as well because it's actually, it's not really the most difficult Tony Hawk run, but it's for someone who's never really delved into watching that scene. It's cool to see you do all these levels really, really fast because I'm playing through the first game's levels, the second game's levels, and a bunch of extra levels in less than 30 minutes. So for a lot of people, that's like a couple weeks worth of stuff, and I'm just condensing it down to 30 minutes. But that same day, I got word that I got accepted into AGDQ, which, for those of you who don't know, Awesome Games Done Quick is one of 2 marathons, now 3 marathons, that happens every year.
What's the third one?
Games Done Quick Express. That one's at TwitchCon. There's Awesome Games Done Quick, which happens in January. Summer Games Done Quick, which happens usually in July, or early July. And then now there's Games Done Quick Express, which happens at TwitchCon, which is the smallest of the 3. But they just want, they have enough resources for 3 marathons, I guess, for now. But I got accepted into AGDQ, which is like the biggest of all 3. So it's really cool. Are you
going to be on the live stream?
Yes, I'll be on the live stream. Playing.
Okay. We'll be supporting you, cheering and yelling, "That's my baby!"
That's my baby. What's that meme of how Drake always looks like he's someone's enthusiastic girlfriend? Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've seen that one.
I'll have to post that for the link dump.
But 2X got into it, so that's pretty exciting. But to my surprise, and to everyone's surprise, Medal of Honor Airborne also got accepted. And I have not played the game in a couple years, but that game's about 30 minutes long, and it's actually one of the more fun runs I've ever played. But it's really cool to see that get in because Medal of Honor games, I think there's only been one ever. I could be wrong. But
so you're going to do that as well?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that as well.
Jeez, camera hog. How many live streams do you want to be on?
Well, and mind you, there's some people who like get games in there and they're like several hours long. Usually there's at least one RPG a year that is like 6 to 8 hours long. It's usually a Final Fantasy game.
I'm going to have to follow you around on the live stream schedule.
Oh, God. I'll probably be there watching in the crowd, so you might see me a couple times because I'll be hanging out with friends.
Something notable.
You should do something awkward
like
so you can
wear
end
a
up,
banana.
Like, yeah.
No, what you should do is you should sit in the front row and eat a banana, but with the skin on, so that way not only can I see you, I will be able to hear you eating it because it'll go up.
Yeah, let's not.
Jesus, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, let's not.
I kind of want to see Clint eat an unskinned banana now.
On stream.
Struggle with that.
On stream.
On stream in front of thousands of people asking, "What the fuck is the guy doing with the donut with the banana?"
That's how you end up in a AGDQ compilation, man. Come on.
Exactly. I'm already convinced I'm gonna fuck up. I'm gonna be in a cringe compilation. Like I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. So I don't really care. It's gonna be funny. Though. It's an honor. Yeah, exactly. Unless it's like one of those really bad cringy moments that like there was like a Crash Bandicoot run a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. He
was like, the general gist of it was he said he was going to like kill everybody in the venue because he missed a trick.
Cool.
He was very.
That's super cool.
That's one of the things he said. It's like running people over buses, or is another thing. Like
that's cool. That's also a cool thing to say.
As you can probably imagine, he's no longer welcome at AGDQ. I'm not sure why, but
no. I imagine maybe not.
But I don't think it's gonna be that bad. It's just like I'm not really the best with words sometimes, so I'm probably just gonna fumble over my words or something. But
you eat the banana wrong. You the wrong way around.
Should do a Mario Party speed run, right?
People actually do that, and it's actually funny because they have to win the game, and most times they lose. So
the reviews came out for that.
What did the reviews say?
Basically, I think because I've not played just any Mario Party games ever, so I'm completely out of the loop of what people think about it. But it's better than the last one, and that it's pretty good. I think it got like a 78, 79 on Open.
That's actually pretty decent for a Mario Party game.
Yeah, for a freaking party game. I mean, there's only so much you could do. Mario Party has a great story. I just love how they incorporate Bowser's,
Bowser.
What about Bowser? Damn it.
I don't know.
Wait, is it 10 or Super Mario Party?
It's Super Mario Party.
Okay.
So my question is
79 on Open.
So my question is, yes, it's going to be a fantastic game for local. Like it always is. It's always a fantastic. Well, I think there's like 1 or 2 bad Mario Party games, but what are we allowed to play online? That's
so I was actually reading about that earlier today. Evidently, online, right? You can now I might be wrong. I think they were saying something about only being able to play with your friends, but you can't actually play the board game.
Oh.
So how they do it is, I think, so I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't have the game yet.
78 on Metacritic, by the way.
I'm picking it up tomorrow, so I'll know for sure then. But essentially, they give you 10 mini games, and then you play these 10 mini games with your friends. And I'm not sure if they're on rotation. I'm not sure what they are. I'm not sure how they work.
And only does 10.
But isn't
there like 80 games in that list?
Yeah, you can only play like 10 of them at the moment, or something like that. Like I said, I'm very I don't know too much on it, but we'll know tomorrow, for sure, because I'll be picking it up.
Isn't it release day tomorrow?
Yeah. Tomorrow, the
You're
5th,
dating this podcast, Clint.
Oh, like it comes out on Saturday. I'll put a note here saying.
Oh, okay, so
today, which is today. Yeah, you got it yesterday. How is it?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Game of the year.
It's great, man.
Years.
It's great. Oh well. No, yeah, but like, we'll see how that goes. I feel like with Nintendo and online, they don't know what they're doing. But we're gonna buy their games anyway because they're fun.
Forever about online. I could talk.
They're doing the Final Fantasy 14 thing again, where they're just not listening to how everyone else does stuff because they think their way is better.
Well, it's also the fact that they've come out and said that none of them actually have Xbox Live or PlayStation Network.
Yeah,
so they're kind of just doing their own thing. And it's like, if I was doing something and my competitors have been doing this for a long time, I would be taking notes and then improving on what they're doing. But Nintendo's like, nah, we're doing our own thing. So
I think it was some journalist who said that. Who said he went? Was it it was a journalist or something like that who went to them and said, "So on this feature, you know how on Xbox Live you can," and they went, "Oh yeah, we don't play that." Oh well, you know how on PS4 you can, "Oh yeah, we don't play PlayStation."
Amazing.
It's just like, why are you not doing that?
Because Nintendo has like some of the best video games, but they are atrocious at online. It is abysmal.
Look, man, I love my friend codes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my
it's
God,
the best thing ever made.
They still have friend codes in 2018.
Nintendo is the idiot savant of game companies because they make amazingly great decisions and then amazingly poor ones. And I'm starting to wonder if like the good ones are by accident or maybe are the bad ones by accident.
It's probably both. Like
they're all on accident.
Like their games are fantastic, but their management is piss poor at best. Like I'll play the games all day, but like I actually despise Nintendo and some of their practices, such as like the stuff they do on YouTube, for example, of their whole little network thing that you have going on.
Oh yeah, that was just. I don't even think that was particularly like a heinous practice. It was just completely out of touch.
Yeah, and they're still doing it. So like no one still does that because most people will agree that if someone's playing a game on YouTube, like it's free publicity pretty much, especially if it's a big streamer, like influencers, as they're called now. Like,
please don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I put in quotes. They are gonna bring a lot of hype to the game, so that's free publicity. I think when Telltale went down, someone posed a question to someone there saying that if the rise of Twitch streaming and all that like hurt their sales, and he said that in no way did it do that. So like
I suppose you could see the argument for that if you didn't have access to the figures. But if you do,
especially since it's like a game that more or less ends in the exact same way every time. It's not something like a video game like an RPG where you can just change it every single time and do your own thing. I
also think like the thing with Nintendo isn't that they think that people aren't buying their games because they're watching them, because I don't think Nintendo games are, like if it's a really good one like a Mario or a Zelda, it's a fucking event. But also it's like I think they're more just worried about people earning money off of their stuff rather than people not buying their games because they're watching people play them. So they want the money from the people who are playing their IP. And that's just like you got to have a bit of give and take with that. You can't just say, okay, well you play my game and you give me all your money. Like that's not how this works.
And it sucks too because I think I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think people have got like codes from Nintendo. Like they've been given access to do all this shit, and they still get copyright striked or content ID'd. So they still have to go through the process. It's like, what the fuck? I can talk about content ID all day about how atrocious that is, but that's a YouTube thing. That's not Nintendo's thing.
It's gotten worse.
It's
well, at least
only
they've got a
going
new
to get
Switch
worse.
coming out, which I don't know much about.
Man, the Switch. That is probably one of the most ingenious things that's come out in a long time. But my God, is that thing really underpowered?
So I don't have a Switch. I've never played. I've basically never played a Nintendo game. So what is this new thing about the new Switch? I keep hearing about?
So the old Switch is pretty much
it like PS4 Pro.
Fake gamer. He's a fake gamer, guys.
Fake gamer.
Fake gamer.
So the old Switch, it's more or less just it's pretty much like a mobile APU, like a mobile phone APU, just update a little bit.
I know what that means.
Okay, so was it accelerator processor unit? It's pretty much a GPU and a CPU combined.
Means. Okay. I know what that means. I'd like to thank you for not going at me with the lingo on this and just explaining it to me gently.
So imagine your phone, right? A smartphone, like a new iPhone or an Android or whatever.
I don't have that. I definitely don't have that.
Imagine you have one.
Okay,
now imagine that as your Switch's CPU and your graphics card combined. Like, it's not more powerful than that. In fact, the Switch, I think, is less powerful than most modern.
How did they get
smartphones.
Doom on there?
That's the thing.
A lot of workaround, man. A lot of workarounds.
Like, okay, so I think the max resolution is 720p or something like that.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I think I could be
it's
wrong.
like it's 720. It also looks really watered down for the. I guess because it's 720 at that point.
Even their biggest
though.
game that came out with it, the Breath of the Wild. Like, when it came out, like, there was issues with stability. Like, there was a lot of frame drops. There still is frame drops even after a year and almost 2 years now, actually.
So just imagine the Switch, but it's just lighter, and they're probably going to make it like a lot thinner. I imagine they're just going to make like changes to the aesthetic of it as well. Kind of like how the DSi. It was so oh my God, the original DS. Have you seen that brick?
Yeah, dude. It was nostalgic in a way, but yes, it was fucking ugly.
Oh my God.
So yeah, as you said, it could go one of two ways. It could go the way of lighter, probably cheaper to make, so cheaper for the consumer, and is probably better battery life, that too. Or they could go the route of what Sony and Microsoft have done and make an updated version and have backwards compatibility.
Yeah. But will it be more powerful though?
It will not be. It will not be more powerful than.
Okay, well that's unfortunate for them.
It will not be more powerful than the Xbox or the PlayStation 4.
Well,
no
not
way.
than that. No.
There is
will it
no
be
way.
More powerful
with
than
what
the
they're trying to
version?
do, it's not going to be more powerful.
It's gonna be the same thing. So think of the same thing, but just like it's. So I think the biggest thing they do it for is because it gets cheaper. Kind of like how you have the PS3, the PS3 Slim, the PS4 Slim. They make a newer version of the same console. They just kind of
something smaller,
make it cheaper.
Better, which is good news for me.
Well, yeah, the original Xbox 360s, and you have these Slims, and then the Elites, and all these different versions. They're just catered to different people. So think of the Switch as just like kind of like a side grade. It's cheaper, does the same. Well, not even a side grade. I'd say it's more of an upgrade because it's the same exact thing. Obviously, besides the parts, I don't know if they're going to use cheaper parts or if they're going to use exactly what they're going to use. But I always think
how
of it as
usually is with technology, like one thing one year should be cheaper than the next or the year after that. Yeah. So the only thing that it does not apply to is RAM, and even that's going down in price. So I would imagine that it would be cheaper parts, but it would be cheaper parts, but it would still be the same quality overall.
Yeah.
Then what are they going to sell it as? What's
cheaper,
new and
cheaper? It's cheaper, lighter. You're usually cheaper. Like slimmer versions of any console, anything, any.
But usually when they do that, when they do that, don't they like say that it's also better in some way, like a slim version?
I mean they
probably said better battery life, better battery life. Probably.
Yeah, they're going for better battery life.
The Switch's battery life is atrocious. Like if you play a game on your handheld, it will go down in a few hours, which is the same way with laptops and stuff like that. But If you want
Which is
something,
not great if you're trying to play it on the bus
or on the plane. Like mine died on my plane ride back home, so that sucked.
F.
That was a lot of F, especially since I was close to the end of fucking Breath of the Wild. But
Oh yeah.
so yeah, it could go one of two ways. So it could go lighter.
I think it'd be good.
It can go more powerful, or they could do both. They could say, "Fuck it, let's do both."
I'd imagine that they're just going to make it lighter.
So what do you think they're going to name?
Because that's going to cater to more. What the Switch Lite, the Switch, the Switch. I don't know.
The Switcher, the Nintendo Switcher.
Slim or Nintendo's.
Nintendo.
Okay,
Switch
so
statement. Case A, case B.
Because so with Nintendo, when they had the Wii U, they call it the Wii U, but most people like who were not in gaming thought it would just be like it's like a small upgrade to the Wii when it was actually a more powerful system.
Yep.
So that was what killed it. I don't know. I think they were trying to stick with the Wii brand, but they wanted to update it. They couldn't just call it the Wii 2 or something like that. I feel like that could have gone better.
You may as well fucking have. It's Wii U.
Yeah, but Wii U, it's like people thought that the Wii U was something for the Wii, like it was a peripheral or something like that, or an upgrade for it. But when in actuality, it was just a completely separate console, which tanked it.
Nintendo is garbage with their naming conventions.
Like, and then you have the new 3DS XL. It's like,
like why? What are they doing? You're confusing all the old people.
You're confusing.
Janice doesn't know what the hell that is.
S or something, wasn't it?
The Switch S, maybe.
Yeah,
I think that would be fine.
Calling it here. Everybody, invest your stocks now.
I mean, if it's cheaper, I'm sure it'll pick up a lot better.
Oh man, you know what the reviews also came out for? Odyssey.
Oh, Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
I was thinking Mario for some reason.
I was saying the same.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I didn't think that was true.
Yeah, I was like, Odyssey Mario? It came out?
What was it? It was
what year is this?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, and apparently, it's the biggest thing I've heard was that the open world is apparently amazing, and to some people, it's as good if not better than Witcher 3, which is a bold claim, a very bold claim. That's an action-packed game.
I mean, especially with how Ubi's been doing recently.
I think the thing is that Ubisoft has basically, obviously they have just rebooted Assassin's Creed, and it is. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it is not entirely what it once was. It's now become more of an RPG type thing. So I think they're probably going to expand in that direction. Whereas a lot of the increasing number of Assassin's Creed games, they were all kind of the same, except they were in different locations.
Isn't there an Assassin's Creed game? There's not going to be one next year, right? I think they confirmed that.
Well, no,
wasn't it every 2 years?
I think they do it. I think it's every 2 years now.
Pretty sure it's every 2 years.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. No. Origin came out last year, didn't it?
Oh, did it? Oh, I don't know. I don't ever.
Maybe early.
Yeah, it says right here. The GameSpot article. It says that there will not be an Assassin's Creed in 2019. Also, no. I would have fucking audio coming from an autoplay video. God damn it! Stop that shit. But yeah, it
85
says
on Metacritic.
85. That's actually. Hey, if they were
if they were Fallout New Vegas,
they get that bonus.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, that's what I think of every time I see that fucking number now.
That's what I think of too, so it's fine. But yeah, it says pretty much they're going to be not have one next year.
I still haven't played Origins, and I obviously haven't played Odyssey, so I would like to see what the changes exactly were. But from the sounds of it, it sounds like they're really trying to expand what Assassin's Creed typically is. With more RPG elements, bigger maps, more stuff, rather than just, the last Assassin's Creed game I played was 3, and I didn't dislike it. I know a lot of people did, but I never finished it, but that's just because I'm fucking lazy. But I didn't dislike it. But all the ones after that kind of just meld together.
The last
and
one...
now they're they all seem pretty expansive upon each other and bigger each time, rather than just, okay, we're doing this one, but this time it's in London. So
I pretty much played Assassin's Creed 1, not on release day, but it was close to it. I was really interested because that's the type of shit I was into back then. Still am now in a way. Historical fantasy stuff is always fun to see. in a game setting. So I got hooked on it, and then they brought more games. I love 2. 2 is fantastic. One of my more favorite games of all time. Brotherhood is as good, if not better, in most ways. Revelations. Revelations. The formula at that point, because I think it was still yearly at that point, I feel like the formula was starting to get a little overdone, but it was still fun in its own right. 3, I hated. I hated 3. There was just something about it that was completely off.
I hated
that
game.
I
just thought it was fun.
I'm gonna be honest and say I've only played 1 and 2, but I really did enjoy 2. I had a lot of fun with 2 when I played
it. You can get the games usually for pretty cheap now, especially on Steam. They usually go on sale for like $5 max. Like, they're pretty fucking
I'm just
cheap.
sad they don't have any achievements, to be honest.
Rip. Just get on Xbox One, man. You have the Ezio collection.
Yeah, but they're not Steam. They don't have my collection of.
But you have like the number of point gamer score.
Just start a new collection. It's okay.
But I can't have 2 collections. That's splitting the vote.
I have 2 collections. I used to be an achievement whore on PS3 and 4.
I did play 4.
I used to be an achievement whore, but kind of never stopped. So was really never part of it. I don't know why.
I did play 4 Black Flag. That was pretty fun. I didn't get very far into it. I got like maybe 6 hours. But from what I played, it was actually really fun. Of course.
Every now and then I see people say that was the best one.
I wouldn't say it's the best one.
I think that was the last one that really innovated.
Yeah. And then, people go on, the ship combat, which, that was actually pretty awesome at the time. Still is now in some ways. But ever since that, I have not touched Assassin's Creed game. I just completely fell off the series. And I think a lot of people did too, especially since they tried
There's too many of them.
There's just too many of them. And after 3, they kind of just soft rebooted the series after 3 because that was the end of Desmond's storyline, and it ended poorly, by the way.
I'm looking forward to it when I get there.
It was so bad, but they kind of did a soft reboot. They did a soft reboot of the series, and I didn't really have a story within each other. I think they kind of did, but they weren't really linked very well. At least from what I've seen, I can't really say for sure. And then, they have a hiatus, and then Origins came out. I haven't gotten a chance to play Origins. I really want to, because it looks amazing. Odyssey looks amazing. But my question is, how do microtransactions play into this?
Okay, so this is the thing that has come up before with something like Shadow of what's the second one called?
Shadow of War.
Shadow of War, thank you. I couldn't remember if it was just Shadow of Mordor 2. And this kind of thing has come up before where there are unclear microtransactions in the game, and I'm not entirely sure what it is either. Basically, from what I can tell, it's and this is fucking useless because none of us played it. You play the game, and obviously you level up because now that's a thing in Assassin's Creed, and apparently it's quite slow to level up, and you can buy a thing that permanently increases your experience boost whatever by 50% so that you level up muchos quicker, and that's not great.
So it's pretty much like a repeat of last year with Shadow of War, as you said, with the orcs and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of this came up because of a Polygon article that was released about it, and then everyone started talking about it. And so I looked into it a bit more. And one of the complaints he mentions in the article is that you need to buy it in order to level up, because you need to scale with the enemies, because as you level up, the enemies scale with you. So if you get to level 16, all the enemies are level 16 now, so it's really hard to keep on top of everything. But that's also a setting that you can turn off. Just to play devil's advocate, you can turn that setting off in the game options. You can set it so that stuff doesn't scale with you, so you don't have to buy it.
So you could go with Oblivion style of enemies, or do without, pretty much.
Skyrim.
Right? Or no, Oblivion does the same thing, right? Like they level up with you.
Yeah, but Skyrim is the one where it's like I think if you turn it off, then it's just like region based. Oh, that was a noise.
Which that's fine. Like
yeah,
you'll get the idea of like, oh no, bad idea. Don't go over here. Get fucked up.
See, the thing is, I because I've not played it, I did the only sensible thing I could to find people's opinions on it. So I read the Reddit comments. And it seems
the source of all information.
What people seem to think is that the complaint is a bit over-egged, and that it's not really true, as he puts it in the article, that like the pacing isn't that bad, that the XP doesn't slow you down, that kind of thing.
Then people play devil's advocate with. Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you off, but people play devil's advocate with Shadow of War that you didn't necessarily need the most powerful orcs to complete the game. Like, wasn't
I think it's one of those things where there's you could have the argument that it's bad because it ruins the pacing or whatever, and you have to, unless you want the game to be shitty and slow and grindy and whatever, you have to buy it. Or even if you, or the other hand, even if it's fine pacing wise, the problem is that it's there at all. That you can buy that sort of thing in a single player game. It's just money farming, basically.
Yeah.
And I tend to fall into the latter. I don't mind. Like, I don't think the first one is really relevant, just from what I've read. I don't think it's a huge grind fest like it's made out to be in certain articles. But I think the fact that it's there at all is not great.
Yeah. Well, it's basically, hey, we design a game and we design this, but let's design it around the microtransactions. So I think as long as it doesn't really interfere with what I'm doing, like if I feel like the game is naturally progressing, okay.
Yeah,
like it's playable. Like, if it's just like cosmetics or things like that. But when you're paying for a direct advantage, it changes a lot of shit. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm kind of on the fence here. So in the I guess in Shadow of War's case, it's one thing, right? Like you can buy direct, the XP boost you're just talking about.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Or orcs, or anything like that, right? But then, like, because
what's not mentioning that they did take out the microtransactions?
Yeah. And I guess it depends on how it's done. Honestly, like if I like a game enough, I'm gonna buy it either way, even if it has microtransactions. I just obviously won't buy them, right? But also depends on on how it's done. So with like because I know the big thing was with Devil May Cry's instance, like I see a lot of people making a big deal about it. I personally so how microtransactions work in that game is essentially you can buy orbs, and orbs are your main currency, right? So currency, they changed a lot of it, and I feel like they changed it to kind of work around microtransactions, because in Devil May Cry 4, right? Let's just compare it to that. That was the first Devil May Cry game to introduce microtransactions, where you can buy your currency, and you can buy currency for like character upgrades. But the thing is, for that, like if that doesn't make you any better. Like if you were to buy the currency and let's say you get your character fully kitted out and upgraded, you still don't know what the hell you're doing. You have all these different moves. You're not going to be any better than you were before that.
Yeah, that video you showed before we started, that guy with all those button presses, like, holy
like what?
Shit. What is going on?
So imagine being completely new to the game, and let's say you buy all your character upgrades. You're still going to be button mashing. You're still not going to know what the hell's going on. But I think they changed so that. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like, okay, so there's a big difference between that, and then they did change. So from 4, it's funny because Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, the one that introduced microtransactions, the original 4 didn't have it. Special Edition did, but they also quadrupled the currency gain in 4 Special Edition for whatever reason. I don't know why they did that. They made it easier to max out your character in like one playthrough. But then again, Devil May Cry 5, they're changing it to where whenever you die, you can respawn using a currency, using the red orbs. You can respawn, and you can buy. So I think they're making it so you can only buy the red orbs once, and then you can't buy any more. But then again, that option is still there. So when you die, I think it's like it's a fixed amount. Let's say it's a fixed amount. You die once in the mission or whatever. Let's say you want to respawn again. That currency value is tripled and then quintupled, which is definitely really sketchy. But I mean, honestly, if it plays like any other Devil May Cry, I don't see it being a huge issue. But it's still there. It's still an issue.
I think just the idea that a microtransaction is there is not. It's just not
in a
good
way.
overall.
If it doesn't change the game, isn't that kind of more scummy in a way, though? Like you're trying to sell microtransactions to say you'll be better at this game if you buy this fucking blah, 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 and then you're not better at the game. Isn't that kind of worse?
No. I don't know how. That's exactly why I'm on the fence about it. I don't know how to think about it. Either way, I'm still going to get the game. They also changed the revive system. So, beforehand, you could buy something called the gold orb that would revive you whenever you die, right? Okay, cool. You bought it with in-game currency. So they got rid of the gold orbs in the new one in exchange for you just spending your regular currency on revives as you die. So I don't know how that's going to work. I feel like they changed it to kind of cater to that. But then again, I don't know. I guess it depends on the person, because the way I play the game is if I die, I restart the whole mission myself. I don't ever use any of the items. That's how I play. So I'm not going to ever, use that side of things, but other people might. So, oh, hey, I want to get this achievement, to beat the game on the hardest mode, but I keep dying all the time. Let me just pay money so I can beat the game.
Buy this thing, yeah.
And I guess we come into the more abhorrent examples of microtransactions, like, for example, the NBA 2K series, like.
Fucking
they're
haircuts.
Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
Well, the thing is, I think there's two types of microtransactions in gaming. I think there's two types. There's one which gets people very annoyed and dubious and upset, which is like in single player games, in multiplayer games, etc. But then there's the ones that's far more acceptable to the general gaming audience, which is like sports games like Madden and 2K and FIFA and all of that, where sometimes people make a stink out of it on Reddit, but most people will 100% buy stuff on there, no problems. They will absolutely do that without thinking about it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean,
this is on single player games. It's a bit more like there's more caution. It doesn't sell as well.
The thing is, I don't know, like the 2K series, like
for some reason,
the thing I'm talking about
is sports games.
The thing I'm talking about specifically, though, is like career mode, pretty much. Like, you don't get a whole lot of points to update your character. And there's a lot of stats. And a basketball game or a football game, there's a lot of stats, a lot of them. There's more stats than in a regular RPG or whatever. But to upgrade one of those points requires a set amount. Of course, as that value goes up, more points are going to be required. And you don't get a whole lot to begin with. And then, especially in 2K's case, they like pushing, like saying, hey, you can click this button and get more coins so you can update your character, like pretty much every other screen. So, like, that's, like, for Odyssey's case, like, as long as it does not affect the game a whole lot to the point of, like, if it's a massive grind as in, like, it was gating off content or whatever, like, that's bad. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there are different extremes of microtransactions. The extreme of 2K is like the most abhorrent, because it feels like I paid $60 for this game, and then now you're making me pay more money, like a mobile game, to fucking do more shit. And then there's Assassin's Creed you don't want in as well.
I think whenever they incorporate random chance into direct upgrades in a full $60 game, I feel like that's where it starts getting like really dumb. Like, of course, they had the whole case with Star Wars, right? Multiplayer, pay to win. It's already, but that's been overkill. Everybody's already talked about that.
That's
beating
what
a dead
killed
horse.
Loot boxes, basically.
And then you have, by the way. Yeah, and then you have like FIFA and shit, right? FIFA, you pay $60. Now I have the chance to buy more packs for more characters for more upgrades. So I don't like how that's. I really don't like how that's being done. You pay $60 to pay more money to get.
I think that you don't see in any other game with microtransactions. Like,
it's just
for some reason that in those particular subsets of games, the audience. I guess it's because most people generally like sports, and therefore those games can get perhaps a bigger audience than maybe the latest, I don't know, Lara Croft or whatever. So there's more people who will buy them, and therefore there are more people who will accept them. I don't know, maybe something like that. But for some reason, among those types of games, microtransactions are so much
there's
more
also the fact that like sports games are very, 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 very competitive. Like,
it's multiplayer based.
That's also that's also very true.
So people want to be the best. So how do you be the best? You either grind a lot, or you can pay money up front. And the loot boxes, like, I'm on the side of that. It is gambling. It is pretty much our version of gambling. And the sports games have been mostly untouched by this whole loot box controversy, even though it's literally the exact same thing. Like, I think what was it? I think EA had to release the statistics or whatever of the chances of getting certain types of certain types of players recently because of another country who was like, hey, you need to release this shit.
But then they're like,
country
what
was
was it?
that? Was that Belgium?
I think it was Belgium. I was thinking Belgium.
Yeah. And then,
and then of course it is actual shit. Like the best one is below a 1% chance. Far below. They don't even state. Chance.
Yeah, they don't even know. You don't know. It could be anything from 0.01 to 1, like or less than
0.00000000001 to 1.
You have no idea what that percentage chance is. And then EA, you know, obviously they're making so much damn money off of this. They're like, who do they stand up to? They stood up to somebody and they're like, haha, no, Lamau, we're just gonna go ahead and, you know, keep going. And now they're being like tried to like,
or be like
2K
and be like,
I know what you're talking about.
And then 2K is trying to get their community to talk to like the Belgium like administration and be like, hey, can you like
investigate? Hang on,
like,
let me find
2K is like starting to start shit.
Yeah, pretty much. I forget exactly what country it was because I usually watch a lot of Yang Ye. I'm sure I just butchered his fucking name.
I know who you're talking about.
He covers a lot of this stuff, and I think he went over that. Thought I'd give credit where it's due for this guy because he puts a lot of work into all this. Basically, a video every day. He does a lot of good stuff. But yeah. Basically, they stood up to one of the countries, and now they're being tried for like criminal charges because they won't remove the FIFA microtransactions in that country.
Because like, it's so much money.
I can't find which country it is. I remember seeing that headline though. I think I sent it to Clint actually.
It's like it's billions of dollars like on the line right now.
Yeah, I mean, they got mobile games, they've got all the console games, and they're just raking in money.
Yeah, like
hey man,
it's Belgium. It's Belgium.
It's always Belgium. Belgium is like our heroes right now.
They fuck off with your shit, man.
Man, we're getting tired of your shit. And it's not just them. Like I think I read something last week that a couple more countries are considering legislation against like loot boxes. So
Australia recently did not a panel, but they did like a study for the government, I think.
I think that's what I read. I don't think
it was pretty scathing report of how loot boxes work. And I think that's just going to keep happening more and more.
Yeah,
like they really got lucky with how long they were able to keep going, but they just pushed it too far, and now everyone's really started to take note.
Like if EA just did not fucking if they did not go all in as they did with Battlefront 2, I think we'd still be in this loot box thing. Yeah, but EA was like, we want all of the money, all of it, all of your money now, and then everyone just fucking collided at the same time and fucked them up. And then everyone knew about it. And they're like, oh shit, we're sorry. We're going to roll back. It's going to be back how it was.
Funny, because I think Battlefront 2 was the first time that loot boxes as a concept got real news attention.
It was.
Like the Outlash was so...
Well, it's I think the game.
I think the Battlefront subreddit was the biggest one behind it too, because they were like fucking all over that shit. I
remember seeing it on BBC News, and it's like, I've never seen that before.
It was kind of surreal.
Still the most downvoted post on Reddit.
Well, it's because of how it was. Yeah. It's because of how it was executed. It's just how it was done. It was just the intent behind it, man. And it's I think the biggest thing is with all the Star Wars merchandise and all the Star Wars things.
It's Star Wars,
yeah, it's aimed towards everybody, kids included. Not just kids, of course, but it's aimed towards everybody. And when you have something like this that wants to suck more and more money out of you, I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get pissed off about it. You already paid $60.
Concerns me about loot boxes is that we, as of a certain age, I say stroking on my grey head, as a certain age, we have the benefit of knowing that video games weren't always like this, so we can say that's a microtransaction. I'm going to avoid that. But if you have, say, a 7 or an 8-year-old playing Battlefront 2, they're going to think it's just normal for video games to be like, oh, I can't unlock Darth Vader until I've put 200 hours in, or I've used my parents' credit card to buy this thing. I could do that. So, and they don't have that knowledge to know that they shouldn't do that, or that they shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, I was reading even before it became a thing in the AAA gaming industry, like mobile games, like there were reports of kids like bankrupting their parents pretty much just for like purchases in a mobile game because there was like no limits at the time. They wouldn't know better. Like kids are not
that's not normal.
Kids at that age do not know anything about money. They don't know what it is, how it works. That's a very finite resource. Unless fucking.
It's like if
my allowance, my $10.
It's like if we grew up playing video games and people said, "Oh yeah, you're not allowed to jump in those games. Why are you doing that? You're not supposed to do that." It's just like it's something that's just so potentially normal to them that I think is quite worrying. That there could be a generation of people who could, grow up thinking that you've got to spend all this money just to play the game. And
I gotta get my Fortnite skins, okay?
All right, well, Fortnite's I feel like Fortnite is fine though, but that's just me.
No. I was just joking.
It's awesome to see that through all of even right now, like Epic is still on the good side of microtransactions and stuff like that. Like they're not being like fucking stupid as some other corporations. Like they've been pretty nice overall.
Hope they don't change.
I hope they don't change. I pray they don't change because Epic is a pretty cool studio overall.
They really don't need to, though. They
don't need to. They killed off Unreal 4, Unreal Tournament 4. RIP.
Rip. And why would they do it? They have the moneymaker right here. It's still getting bigger. Like it's like how the hell is this getting bigger? Everyone's playing it. Even more people are playing it. I think the aliens are playing it now.
Look, man, when it gets to the point that your aunt plays Fortnite, I think it says something.
Wait, your aunt plays Fortnite?
Well, Daisy's aunt plays Fortnite.
Oh my
Holy
god!
Shit.
Yeah,
that's amazing, actually.
So she's on there.
I mean, there's no surprise. It's just so accessible.
It is.
Yeah,
it's on every platform.
It's really great for a hardcore
cross-play on every platform,
and it's cross-play now on PlayStation. So,
which I think is great that they. I think it's a good thing that they finally pushed for that and they're testing it with Fortnite.
Yes.
Man, that's
testing. It's testing quotes. Like I said this on Twitter, but when they said that they did all this testing internally to figure out if this could be a thing, I'm like, bull fucking shit. All you have to do is just tell developers, hey, you guys can do it, and all they do is just click a button and boom, crossplay on everything. That's all they have to do.
Remember when Rocket League?
Sony does not have to do anything. They try to look like the fucking heroes. Like Sony's trying to look at the fucking heroes. Like get the fuck out of here. All you had to say was like, okay. Yes, crossplay's a thing now. That's all you gotta say. You don't have to do this whole like business bullshit about like you did this whole analytics thing. Like, stop, shut the fuck up.
You know you can do it. You know you can do it.
I'm sorry.
Just do it or don't do it.
Like I was so fucking. I'm tired of like business speak. I'm just saying. Like that was all business speak. They're trying to make themselves look like the heroes. It's like no, get the fuck out.
I wonder why they don't want to do it so badly.
Market share.
I haven't really looked. Well, there is that, but I guess because they're really committed to this strategy.
So a few weeks before it became a thing, it became a thing as well. I think one of their higher ups said that they wanted the PlayStation to be like the premier platform, the platform everyone plays on. It's like, well, you're not making any money doing this. Let's put it that way. Because let's put it this way: if Fortnite's the biggest game right now, right, and I can only play with Sony people. Why would I do that when I can go on like Xbox or PC and I can play everybody?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Everybody but you, including Switch. Switch is all on board. Nintendo, the most asinine of all of the people when it comes to online play, were on board with this before Sony. What the fuck?
Sony has a really great strategy going in making a lot of really great games that are exclusive. Something that Microsoft really is lacking on. But they're taking it a bit too far, or they were taking it a bit too far when they're treating multiplayer games the same way, especially something like Fortnite. Like, I get that they're committed to that strategy of trying to make PlayStation the thing that everybody is on, but at that point, you're not getting people to go on PlayStation, you're just pushing people away from it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everyone else can play, on every other platform except this one. That no one's going to go to the other one, you're just going to be the one left behind. So...
So if there was anything that they figured out in this whole thing was that they eventually they sat down and were like, hey, this actually does not make us as much money as we thought, so we might want to go ahead and just say fuck it, crossplay, and just get good publicity. That's probably all they said, because that's what they got. They got good publicity. Like people were praising him. It's like, I'm not going to praise you.
No, I think it's more so, hey, we did something good. Oh, but we're doing something bad. Okay, so now we're back at neutral. We're back at where we should be. Not anything positive.
It took them too fucking long to get to this to begin with. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for real.
But if it leads to a more unified, gaming ecosystem, I'm all for it. Sony is just still fucking retarded. That's all I gotta say.
Seriously though, Rocket League really did hella turn on crossplay by accident.
Yeah, they did.
Quotation marks in the strongest possible form.
Okay.
Oh god.
I can talk about microtransactions and guess that stuff all day
Yeah,
long.
I could too.
Especially with today's culture. Loot boxes. Loot
boxes. What?
Did somebody say hats?
Yes, hats. Let's be honest. TF2 is like a loot box simulator.
Oh yeah. No. I've definitely had my fair share of spending on loot boxes. I'm not even gonna lie.
I bought 2 Killing Floor loot boxes just because I'm a fucking idiot, and I
bought 3 because I'm a fucking idiot, and I didn't get anything.
And,
I've done at least 15. Not gonna lie.
Well, you get a profit off it though.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, you have a business going on. You have like
you hell have a business card.
You have Michael's Hat Emporium going on over there.
Yeah. You
just luck, man.
Absolutely make a profit out of that.
Look, okay, listen to me. I put 3,000 hours into TF2, and I'm about $3,500 in, and like so far as wealth accumulated. Less than $1 an hour doesn't sound that good, all right? When you put it on paper.
I mean, it's pretty fucking good for a video game.
It's less than $1 an hour.
That's pretty.
Okay, so
that's pretty good for your side time.
Yeah, it's a good amount. Is there wizard hats?
No, there's definitely wizard hats. Ooh. Do you want a wizard hat?
I want a wizard hat.
I can get you a wizard hat.
Does it come with a wand?
You can get a wand, I think, on your side.
A wand weapon.
A wand weapon.
There's so many cosmetics in
Is it like the knife you just stab someone with a wand?
Yes.
Like, wow, this wand is really sharp.
Can we have like someone voice acted as like Hagrid or whatever? Like
no.
Can we not do that?
You're dead, Harry.
No.
Yes.
I'm a what? I'm a what?
You're dead. You're dead, Harry.
You're dead, Harry. I'm a what?
That just makes me think of Red Dwarf. Well, speaking of fucking Harry Potter, we got to talk about that fucking leak.
Oh boy.
Game?
So I think
RPG.
I just love that, like for the longest time, we have wanted a Harry Potter game. A new Harry Potter game. And then as soon as we start a series on our channel, it's as if our prayers were answered.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically, from the sound of it, the game that everyone who likes Harry Potter has dreamed of for the last like 15 years, where it's just you are in a custom character in Hogwarts, RPG, open world, spells, go fucking nuts.
So it's basically Skyrim with wands.
Sure, if you like. That'll be
the tagline. We'll get Adam Kovic to go ahead and make that line.
Skyrim with wands.
Skyrim with wands. But
I don't know. I've got a weird feeling though. I've got a feeling that this could be a game that everyone says they want, but won't sell that well if it comes out. Which I'm sure it probably will.
But at the same time, it's like I talked about this in our series, but there is so much lore potential with Harry Potter. Like outside just the books, like there's an entire like universe that J.K. Rowling has made, and it's never really touched on outside those books. And it's like Harry Potter games, like they don't touch on it very often. They just say, "Hey, this guy lived." That's it.
No, she tends to make the books fucking weird whenever she goes back to them too. Like, do you ever hear that whole thing with Nagani?
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, that was pretty uncomfortable.
Bit of a retcon going on.
And it's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's not great. So I'd rather that they move the fuck away. Shall we talk about what the leak said? Well, it wasn't really a leak so much. It was an
entire trailer. It wasn't like even game.
Yeah,
it was like a webcam. It looked like a phone cam or some shit. Like it was
someone was recording off a screen.
Yeah, like someone recording off a screen with like a phone or whatever. And they upload to YouTube. It like almost immediately got fucking copyright strike by Warner Brothers. So
which like gave the game away.
Yeah, pretty much gave the game away. By the way, Warner Brothers, if you don't want to say that this is a thing going on, don't do that. Like that's just gonna say, hey, we're doing this. But they copyright striked it, or copyright claimed it rather. There's still mirrors available because everything that's on the internet will always be on the internet.
Yeah, you can find it if you really want to find it.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Everyone's talking about it also, so like, what are you gonna do? But it's pretty much like it might as well have been a reveal trailer, but it wasn't a reveal trailer because there wasn't any information on who developer was.
I don't think it was a reveal trailer.
It was more,
I
okay.
think it was a testing trailer. I think it was for maybe investors or for testing groups or something. Because 1, there was no fucking title in it. 2, there was no date in it. 3, there was no developer in it. And 4, like everything about it looked kind of janky, like a pre-alpha or an alpha would. So it definitely was not a reveal. And also, it didn't have unique music. That music is from Harry Potter.
That's fair.
Fantastic Beasts. So I think it was like a put together thing to try and sell if
someone might be interested, or if we should do it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But either way, like internet got a hold of it, and everyone wants it. So
yes, everyone does.
I think everyone's in agreement that this would be fucking fantastic if it's done.
I'll be honest and say that I was never really too big into Harry Potter. I think I've only seen the first look. I've only seen like the first 3 movies. Okay,
that's fair.
I'll be honest. And this actually kind of piqued my interest back into that. I don't know, when I was a kid, I was just never really into it. But I mean, if this is a thing, I'd probably get it. So, honestly,
on top of this,
have I ever told the story of my first cynical moment in life? Where I was like 6 years old, and I think I was at home sick or something, and I was in front of the TV just sick under a blanket, just kind of miserable, and I turned my head half asleep, and there was an advert for some Harry Potter Lego toy thing that had just come out because the film had just come out, and I looked at it and thought, ugh, that'll never catch on, and then I turned over and went to sleep.
Boy, were you wrong.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like I had such a deeply cynical thought when I was like 6. And I remember explicitly thinking, that'll never catch on. Like those words. Like I was 6. Why am I thinking like that? I'm sure I must have said that at some point in the Harry Potter series, but
I think you may have. That's funny.
Not only my first cynical moment in life, but my first experience with Harry Potter. So there you go.
So on top of this, there was some information along with it as well. It said that it was supposed to star a 5th-year student that joined Hogwarts really, really late.
Yeah, the synopsis came with it.
Yeah, so it won't be like, you start off as a year 1. You're actually year 5. So you're already a little bit more powerful than, an average.
Do you remember the synopsis? Because I do.
I'm looking at the article right now.
The synopsis was basically that it's set in the 1800s.
Yeah, so it's 100+ years before Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah,
because you get that distance.
There's no Lord Voldemort though. It'd be like Lord Candymort, I guess.
Farquaad?
Candymort, Farquaad. There we go.
The scariest. And you're a 5th-year student. You can be male or female, and basically you just transfer to Hogwarts. I guess maybe you got kicked out of your old school for doing some shit.
But you're so powerful, so they're like, we want you.
Yeah. You've been bouncing around magical schools because you're a bad kid. You got expelled from your last 3 magical schools. So it's basically just like it is exactly what everyone has always asked for when it comes to Harry Potter games.
To be an asshole student?
Well,
apparently you can make choices. Like you can be evil or good.
Yeah.
But if I'm good,
it's exactly
how did
what
I get
everyone
expelled?
wanted. Whenever someone says, I would like a Harry Potter game, usually what they're thinking of, open world Harry Potter game where you're not playing as Harry Potter, but it's in Hogwarts, and also it's not really connected to films or movies, and you're some
like
and stuff.
Prisoner of Azkaban, in my opinion, like the GameCube version, PC version is going to be different once we get to it, or whichever version we choose. But
Xbox.
I don't remember which version. We have it on our sheet somewhere. But like that was like, I think that was my 2nd Harry Potter game. I think I played 1, skipped 2, played 3, then played 2, then played 4, and I hated 4. But 3 was fantastic. I loved 3. Like it was an open world Harry Potter game. Like it was fucking amazing. And I wanted that as a thing where I can make my own character and explore Hogwarts, do my own thing. And now it was a little late to the party, but it's finally happening.
Hopefully. I really hope that this doesn't I hope that the hype it's generated sort of emboldens people who may have, if they were showing it to, I don't know, investors or something, or maybe, potential partners, maybe the hype has sort of gone, oh, okay, maybe people would actually buy this thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things
and hopefully it hasn't done the opposite, and maybe the leaking has kind of scared them off.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
You never
It's working on
honestly,
something.
people in those circles can be really fucking jumpy. Really fucking jumpy. Like some leaking and stuff can sometimes frighten people off from
yeah.
it.
Warner
I've
Brothers
ever
has
really-
still yet to comment about this. So
Well, it makes sense because it's probably very
yes,
very
as you were saying earlier before we did this, it might still be super fucking alpha. They're probably still into super
it might be the
beginning
first
stages.
version of it or the second version.
This
but
might
they're
just be like a
working
showcase.
on
Hey,
it.
this is what we want to do. So
I mean, it's playable, obviously. But
yeah, it's playable.
it's very janky looking, which is to be expected.
But this is like, this is more like a test piece to say, hey, we have a game we want to do. Do y'all want us to do it? Because that happens all the time. Like they have a project, they show it to publishers and like, hey, we have this cool thing. You wanna like buy the rights to it and we can make it? Like,
Yeah.
So
I mean, they would have had the license, so people are, Warner Bros. And all that must be behind it because they've got the license.
Oh yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, they're gonna be behind it. So going back to the microtransactions thing, that's gonna probably be a thing.
They're also at least okay with the idea. Otherwise,
Do we have to buy ones? Do you think we can get the Elder
also
one?
something of note that I also heard. One of my favorite journalists, Lizo Mazimba, shout out to my boy Newsround Lizo. He was tweeting about, he's an entertainment journalist for the BBC, and he was tweeting about how there's apparently other Harry Potter games in the works. I guess the maybe the Fantastic Beasts franchise has sort of reinvigorated interest in Harry Potter games again. And maybe this would be a thing where they're like, they see how it does, and if it does well, then they make more.
At first, you had my curiosity. Now you have my.
I got sneeze.
Fuck.
Oh, Michael just hit his mic thing. Hey, I'll do it. Solidarity.
I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, we didn't
Scared
hear
the
that
shit out of me. I moved my hand. I'm like, oh fuck.
He was getting tired. So another article came out. Sources said that people thought it was going to be Rocksteady, but sources say that Rocksteady said that sources within Rocksteady has said that's not it. They're working on something else entirely.
Superman.
But everything is pointing towards Avalanche. Avalanche Studios.
More specifically, is it not Avalanche Studios or is it Avalanche? Because there's two Avalanches.
Step Up Utah-based Avalanche Software, which previously made the Disney Infinity. That's right. There's Avalanche Studios, which is Just Cause, but there's Avalanche Software that is Disney Infinity or Cars 3.
Yeah, they haven't made at least. I think this would be their first really big game.
Yeah.
Well, I say that, but Disney Infinity wasn't big for me, but
game.
it was pretty fucking huge.
Yeah.
But it would be their first, like, I guess, AAA game.
High budget game.
Was Infinity triple?
Yeah,
maybe it was. I just didn't
it was
think about
AAA, but it wasn't really. It was marketed towards kids. This is their, especially it's like 5th year, so they'll probably be older. So this is going to be probably more towards a little bit older teenagers because it's probably more darker themes going on. Because like by year 5 of the 5th book of Harry Potter, that got dark. So
there's also a bit in the trailer where like you straight up impale some.
Oh, do you? I missed that.
Troll.
Oh no.
And I saw some comments on. Oh, by the way, this brought out the best of Reddit conspiracies of people saying like, "Oh, this is obviously just, some guy created this and is trying to pretend to leak it so that he can get publicity for his indie game." But there was a bit in the trailer where, I don't know if you do it or like it just happens as part of the scenery, but like a part of like a wood stake just goes through some troll's chest, and on Reddit people were thinking maybe that's proof that it isn't real because they thought it was a bit too dark for Harry Potter to just straight up impale some troll.
Harry Potter can get pretty dark.
Yeah, but not like that viscerally dark.
Well, maybe the way
not like direction. Impaling some troll with a fucking stake.
Like,
or maybe
I say dark, but it was still family friendly in a way.
Yeah, like the Dobby got stabbed, but like it
wasn't
you
gore
didn't see him
everywhere
get
and blood everywhere. Yeah. So, but this is a chance to probably touch on some darker aspects of the wizarding world, because
it's not too dark. Obviously, it's probably going to be like a 12 game, a 12A, 12 PG.
Slightly darker
PG,
than fucking Pokemon. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Although Pokemon, when you go on the surface, is pretty fucked up. But anyway.
And then there's some there's some subplots in Pokemon also fucked up. That's a different story.
Yeah, the skull that eats its mother or whatever.
That Pokemon, oh no, it doesn't do that, but yes.
And a lot of the Pokemon are fucked up.
Where did the Rocksteady thing come from? Was that just wishful thinking? Because I saw that a lot. People saying it was either Avalanche or Rocksteady, and Avalanche came up obviously because that was the
I think it was just wishful thinking that Rocksteady would be behind it. But then
because people knew they were
Eurogamer had an
working on
article saying that their sources said that that's not it. They're doing something else, but it's still not announced yet.
I think everyone's pretty sure that they're working on a Superman game.
Or I think I've heard some talk about Justice League game too, which would also be pretty
maybe
lit.
not after Justice League.
That's also true.
maybe they retooled it after that.
Oh yeah, you know that entire Justice League thing you have going on? Yeah, get rid of them all.
Yeah, don't do that. Oh, speaking of DC, I think the new Joker looks really cool.
I haven't seen the new Joker.
I sent you the reveal clip, the makeup reveal thing they did. I think that, and with the film, the set photos and stuff, I think he looks really good, and I think he's going to be a really good Joker. So there you go, my hot take.
Ooh, because for a lot of people, the last good one was, of course, Heath Ledger.
Yeah. My spicy take is that Joaquin Phoenix, good actor, is going to be a good Joker. So there you go.
We shall see. Only time can tell.
Yeah, I still.
Because how many Jokers have they had since Heath Ledger? Like fucking 4 or some shit.
Yeah,
it's like
not since Heath Ledger 2.
2? Okay.
Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix.
And they really haven't done a whole. Wait. Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
There's there's Cesar Romero from the original '60s show. Then there's Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, whatever, and now Joaquin Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Oh, and there's also that dude off of fucking Gotham, Jeremiah or whatever. But I don't watch that. You'll have to ask Andrew about fucking Gotham. I think he looks really good, and I think it's going to be really good. And I still haven't seen Suicide Squad.
I have not either.
Get real drunk one day and I'm going to watch.
That's going to be a while. You don't
Fun
get
bit
drunk
of trivia actually about Jared Leto's Joker. If he does star in the sequels of the Harley Quinn spin-off and plus the Harley and Joker spin-off, he will be the only Joker actor to reprise his role in a different film. Jack Nicholson never did. Heath Ledger obviously never did. Joaquin Phoenix won't because he's signed up. It's like a one deal thing with him.
Interesting.
Because he didn't want to get attached to having to be in 5 fucking films.
Rip.
So he's just doing a one-off. So Jared Leto, the internet's probably least favorite Joker. I can't comment. I have not seen him, so I can't say. But the internet's least favorite Joker will be the only one who returns to the role, which I think is kind of funny.
You know what's not returned to the role?
What's not returned to the role?
Telltale.
Oh. Nice one.
Damn.
Segue.
Too soon.
Boom.
Too soon.
So, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Telltale's dead.
Rest in peace.
It was already pretty dead, which is not great because The Walking Dead is great and it should have finished.
It's going to be an interesting documentary one day. I will say that.
And fuck Telltale's management and oh my god.
Jason Schreier is probably going to have part of his next book. It's going to be
I look forward to Blood. If you haven't read it, get Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier. It tells a bunch of behind the scenes stories of lots of popular games like Stardew Valley and 1313, which obviously never came out.
Destiny.
And it's also got Destiny and what's that game that's like Destiny? Diablo. Right, Diablo 3. Hollow Knight, I think, is in there.
In a good way or bad way, because Hollow Knight is usually beloved.
Yeah, in a good way. Well, some of them are bad stories. Like Destiny is pretty fucking rough. And Diablo 3 starts off badly, but then gets good. And,
that's pretty much how it was for their development too. Yeah.
And Halo Wars is kind of a mixed bag. Halo Wars. Oh yeah, Halo was in it as well.
Because Ensemble, it was Ensemble. Like they were closing down as the last game too.
Yeah, it was also there was a weird bit from what I recall of the book. There was some tension between Bungie and Ensemble because this was the first time that Microsoft had taken the IP away from them without their choice in the matter and given it to someone else.
Mm.
So there was a bit of tension there.
So
It's a
Schreier's
really good
working on a
book,
second
yeah.
book.
He's working on a second one. Hasn't said what it is yet. By the way, Schreier is probably one of the only few actual gaming journalists in the industry at the moment. Hot take. That's a bit harsh.
I would agree with that. Also, don't fucking fight him. Don't.
Yeah, he's the Fallout 76 guy, the one that Reddit like tore the absolute shit out of for saying that Fallout 76 wasn't going to be a typical
and
Fallout
that
game.
one guy from
They all
IGN who fucking like
FIFA
plagiarized. Yeah, he plagiarized,
Philippe.
and he challenged Jason Schreier, and Schreier just destroyed him.
I remember that.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, don't challenge Schreier. He will beat you.
That happens to, by the way, that happens to Jason Schreier. Like every year or so, he'll say something that people don't want to hear. Like the year before that, it was that Mass Effect Andromeda's DLC had all been cancelled after the negative reception, and he got so much shit from that for people saying it's not true. You're just clickbaiting. You don't know that. You're just lying.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're not doing it anymore.
And then the next 2 days, it was confirmed. And then it was the same thing with Fallout 76. He said the thing that people didn't want to hear, which is that it was an online game. It wasn't, typical story-driven, NPCs, blah, 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 all that shit. And people gave him so much shit for it, saying the same thing. You're just clickbaiting. You don't know that. You're lying. You're making it up. You're bullshitting. Blah, blah, blah. Where's your sources? And then, but it's exactly what he fucking said it.
Which, by the way, before we get back to Telltale, Fallout 76, very excited for. Cannot wait.
Same. I think we all are.
I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm interested to see how it turns
Hopefully,
out.
it's one of those games that we played a lot and like, hey, yeah, this is actually fucking amazing, and then you come join us, because I know you're a little worried about how some things are. Like PvP sounds a little weird, especially since they brought more information about it.
I just don't know if it interests me enough for me to buy it, because I am poor.
That's also fair, but you have friends who are not poor, so I'm
the thing that worries me is not so much that it's online, it's that I don't really trust a Bethesda game on the current engine.
That's like also fair.
Fallout 4 kind of wore out that whole engine, and I liked it at first, but I'm one of those snotty people now who.
Well, to be
really
fair, it has been the same engine
Fallout
for
4.
a decade, just updated. So.
Yeah, I'm one of those dime a dozen people you can find on r/games talking about how Fallout 4 is the worst or whatever.
But hopefully,
but I really don't trust Bethesda games on this engine, so that makes me worried. And otherwise, I just don't know if it interests me enough.
Anyways,
so we'll see.
Back to Telltale.
But yeah, get the game. Hopefully, Telltale will be get the game. Get the book. Hopefully, Telltale will be in the next book. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, Telltale's super fucking dead.
Yeah.
That's not good.
So when Telltale was announced,
even more dead.
They were supposed to be a skeleton crew. But
Yes.
now at least part of the skeleton crew is also now dead. Like they've been laid off. So there's even less people still at Telltale, quote unquote.
There's a Twitter account that's someone who I can't say her name because she's done the thing where she's Halloweenized her name. So I'm guessing her name is Rachel, but she's changed it to Rachel.
Yeah.
And it's Rachel Necrononelican. So I can't.
But
I guess
now
her name is maybe Rachel Knoll.
Yeah, she was a narrative designer for Telltale Games. Now former, because she was let go.
She was part of the skeleton crew, and her team have been let go, and that's in a tweet that she just released today. 2 days ago, which because we filmed this on the day that it's released. And
shouts to us.
So she says that it's not that the skeleton crew isn't entirely gone. Oh, by the way, I'm rushing into things. I'm a bit excited because Telltale Games meant a lot to me. I fucking love Walking Dead and Tales from the Borderlands and stuff. The skeleton crew was meant to finish off what their investors paid for, which is essentially just Minecraft Series 2.
Was it Stranger Things?
Stranger Things is fucking done.
Oh, rip.
Although actually no, Netflix is apparently trying to find another developer.
Oh well, they have Don't Nod, so I'm pretty sure they'll find something.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But they were supposed to finish Series 2 of Minecraft, from what I understand, from my readings of the internet. And then as soon as they finished that, the whole thing was going to shut up shop. But apparently plans have changed because she's tweeted that her team has been let go from Telltale, even though she was working on the as part of the skeleton crew. She says that there's still people there, so it's not all gone, but it seems like we're maybe not very long from announcing a total closure.
And this is a day after Telltale has pretty much gone out and trying to find someone to help them finish like Walking Dead final season, because still they have episode 2. I think episode 2's out now, right? It should have been out.
Yeah, episode 2's out.
They still have episode 3 and episode 4 to finish Clementine's arc.
That kind of got some good feedback and also some bad feedback, because there were some people who were like, oh my god, yeah, they could finish The Walking Dead, and I would be happy with that if they could finish The Walking Dead. But also there were people who were very rightly pointing out that, wait, you went bankrupt, you fired all your employees without paying them, without giving them severance, without giving them anything, and now you're looking for investors to help you pay for this game to be made so you can sell it? And obviously people were not very happy about that, because that's really
this entire situation is all fucked up.
Yeah, the whole thing is completely fucked up.
Like, the entire management, I hope to God they never are in business ever again, because if I see this...
There is a fantastic article from Vice from earlier this year, long before there were any rumblings about Telltale being cancelled, basically going into, one, why Telltale games are kind of they're not all the same, obviously, but they are basically the same formula over and over and over again. And also why there's not been much innovation, and also a lot of behind the scenes issues
there's
regarding
so fucking many games.
A lot of their budget went to getting these licenses in the end.
It's not only that. They did the classic mistake of, they had a really big hit. They were a really small, close-knit company that had a really big hit, and then they expanded hugely, insanely, to a degree that they did not need to. They had, I think, earlier this year, I think before they had a bunch of layoffs, they had 350 employees. I think that's more than Naughty Dog.
That's more than, there's only a handful of companies I can say right off the top of my head that have more than that.
Are they all
janitors? This was one studio. This wasn't like, 2 or 3 different studios. Most AAA game developers don't have that much, and this is Telltale, who just make The Walking Dead and Batman, the fucking click and point, and there were so many managerial decisions and even above managerial decisions that were just completely awful. And people have been saying quite a typical thing. Oh well, they failed because all their games are the same. Blah, blah, blah. And no, that really is not the reason that Telltale has declined and finally petered out. The real reason is a lot of managerial issues and a lot of managerial resistance to change. Part of the Vice article is that developers were trying to do new things, but the uppers, as it were too scared of alternative. Of what? What did I just say?
Alternative.
Of changing the formula in case it didn't work.
Wasn't it like they would do one thing and then a little bit later they would have to redo the entire setting again, or they had to redo everything because someone was scared or they didn't want to agree with it or whatever. There was creative differences. There were a lot of different ideas. There were a lot of, and I should say a lot of this is not 100% proven, because it's it's he said she said type thing where the employees are saying it's essentially mostly about the really higher ups of the company, and they're saying that they had a CEO who was particularly nasty and can be quite controlling of what they make and trying to put his spin on things, and he was responsible for a bunch of their best talent leaving because he was so controlling. And he was scared of changing the formula in case it didn't work. And developers were trying to do new things, but he wouldn't really let them. And that's what they all say in the article. He denies it, of course, because he would, even if it wasn't true, he would deny it. But his side, I think he says that he tried to make sure that they were all successful or something along those lines, which in a way confirms what they said. Well, maybe. Who knows? He said type thing. But Telltale is just such a sad story at the end of it. It could have been a lot more than it was, and now it's ended before its biggest thing even got.
and I'm so pissed off with the people behind that. But it's not the developers. It's by far not the, you know, 300
they put their
people
hearts and
who were
souls into
working
every
there.
single episode. Like you can tell a lot of the
Yeah.
time. But
The developers had nothing to do with this shit. Or the 300 people, they're not. Then you know, it's not that they made lazy games or whatever, or they just, or the developers were trying to do the same thing over and over again. This was a very higher up issue and a very common one.
yeah, and I was going to say that after. It's a common issue in the gaming industry, and is one reason I never really wanted to go much into game development. It sucks to be a game developer. It's something you want to do since you're young. But the conditions you're in,
you have
like there are people who've lost like their marriages, like financial stress, physical stress, mental stress,
and also you get paid so much less.
You get paid so shittily, and you have to do all this work. And then once crunch time hits, which Telltale was apparently in crunch time most of the time, you're never going to have time for yourself. So you're always going to be working like 12, 14, 18 hours a day or whatever, sleeping at the office, eating at the office just to get this to go out. So you
video
can keep
game
your
developers
job.
need to fucking unionize.
Well, unfortunately, that's another issue with America, and I won't go into because that's a big topic on its own. Corporations have spun it in a way where they made unions look like the villain, which they clearly are not.
They'll take away your freedoms if you unionize.
When I was at Walmart,
please don't unionize against us.
When I was working at Walmart, we had like an entire day talking
Careful,
about
Clint,
why.
Don't get a lawsuit on this.
Everyone who goes to Walmart will go through this, but pretty much they're pretty much saying that unions were the devil, and it's like, no, no.
Yeah, when a big corporation is saying something is bad, ask yourself why they are saying it's bad.
It's bad for them.
Corporations, for good or for evil, are designed to make profit. That's how they work. That's literally, that's their purpose. So whenever they don't like something, it's because they think it won't give them money, or or shares, or whatever they're counting as increases in profits. Or,
I think Walmart
a whole bunch of buzzwords.
I think Walmart has done several times where like a group tries to unionize and they literally shut down the entire store and then move.
I mean, yeah. If they're doing that, why do you think do you think they're doing that? They're reacting that aggressively and that scared. They're not doing that for the employees' benefits. They're not firing them for the employees' benefits. Video game developers are treated like absolute shit all the time.
Not all of them.
Crunch,
there have been some developers who are actually really good, but the good 80-90% are shit.
The thing is, even in the ones that are treated well, crunch exists, and crunch is the single worst thing in the video games industry. It is awful, and it shouldn't happen. And even in the good companies, that happens all the time, and that's why people get so burnt out on video game developing, because you have to really love it. Otherwise, you could get paid twice as much for doing about like fucking 80% less hours.
And then I heard about this from someone else. Another thing is that if you don't like it, there is almost always someone who could take your place. Like, it's not like they're gonna miss much. Thing. Like, gaming is something that millions and upon millions of people love, and a small group of those people want that as a career. So they're always looking for jobs. So if someone leaves, they're not gonna care. Like, even if you were good, like, it would just take a few weeks, or it may take a while for them to get back to where you were, and in terms of like skill. But they still have a body. Like, it's really easy to get someone else. So,
it's the same reasoning behind those mass layoffs you hear about every now and then, where you hear about some company laying off about 50 people or whatever.
Yeah,
it's usually ties into that, because they'll it's a really awful practice, but it's something that game companies do, unfortunately, a lot, where they'll hire a bunch of developers, of talent of some sort, whatever their job is, to do this thing for the project, knowing that once they're done, they won't want to keep paying them, so they can just fire them. There's a lot of times where developers get hired not just because they're good, but because so they look at it as like, okay, they can do this job, they can draw these assets, they can program this, they can do that, and then we can just fire them, so we don't have to pay them anymore. They've done the work for us, and then we can fire them. And that's why there's a lot of big layoffs, because they hire people in bulk and then get rid of them in bulk when they're done with them. There's no security in the video games industry. You could get if you just quit, then they can replace you instantly, like you said. And if you get hired, they can just replace you instantly. So there's no like, why would you do that to yourself if you didn't love it? You have to love making games to do it.
And even then, there is a limit to that as well.
Yeah, there's like people destroy themselves making video games, like absolutely physically, mentally, emotionally destroy themselves.
Especially like I always hear stories about like Japanese like developers, spending nothing but all their time trying to like finish a game or trying to. I can't really give an example at the moment. I remember reading about a recent one. About this guy putting everything on the line just to finish one game. Hold on, I could probably find it.
So going back to talk about this before, watch the Divinity Original Sin documentary. Pretty much their main guy. You need to still watch it, yeah. Their main guy, from like one of their early games all the way to Original Sin, there was like a 3 or 4 year period where he put everything on the line, and he did not really have a day off because he was trying to work on making the next game as good as possible, so they can still make more games so they can get more money. So it wasn't until Original Sin that he finally was able to get himself a break.
It's like the guys who did Cuphead. They put a lot of work into that. Did they like remortgage their house or something a few times just to get this game out there because they weren't working jobs anymore?
Yeah, video game development does not pay much. People get so much unnecessary shit to video game developers because they think this patch is shit, or they think this game's a bit shit, and they say, oh, the developers are lazy, or the developers are stupid, or whatever. It's like, no, the video game developers are some of the most hardworking, creative, intensely talented people in any creative industry. They just don't get treated well a lot of the time. And a lot of the time, if there's something wrong with a game, it is not because all the developers are idiots. That's not the reason why.
There's just a lot of shit going on in the background. It's probably, if the game works until one point, then that's the least of their concern.
I'm not trying to say like trying to say games are a terrible thing or anything like that. Like
no, but it's the same with any big industry.
Yeah, it's kind of like how like the meat industry is in the world or whatever. Like
there's a dark side.
It's a dark side to it.
Entertainment industry. Every single entertainment industry has there's a lot of love that goes into it because you have to be a creative person to get into, say, acting or singing or writing or directing. But there's also a very nasty side to it that loves the profit that comes from it and will abuse people in order to keep those profits going.
Capitalism.
And that's very explicitly happening with video game developers. And one of the things that struck me most in the Vice article about Telltale is how there would be this culture where in Telltale you had it wasn't unlimited sick days, but you had unlimited paid holiday. So you could just like, if you needed to take a week off, you could do that. And they'd say, hey man, I know it gets stressful around here, but if you ever need a week off, you can just do that and we'll pay you, and that's fine. But in practicality, that didn't work because everyone was on crunch all the time. So everyone was forced to be there all the time. So if you were the one guy who took a week off, you were a fucking asshole because it meant that everyone else had to work even harder. So there was this whole culture of like, well, I can't take a day off because then everyone in the office is going to have to stay there for 24 hours as opposed to 16. So you couldn't take a day off because otherwise you would be ruining other people's lives and you would obviously feel pretty guilty yourself. So everyone was constantly stuck in this loop of like, I need a vacation. I've been working 20-hour days for 6 months. Please let me go home. I haven't eaten anything in 3 days, blah, 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 etc. But you couldn't, because if you did, you would be laying everyone else down. And that's a culture that video game companies can sometimes intentionally let fester so that nobody decides to go, so that people are always working. And there are some companies that say, that sometimes try to encourage that, to say that, if you go home, you're a little bit lazy.
It's the work culture of that.
It's extraordinarily shitty work culture, the video games. It's just awful. And Telltale was as much a victim of it as anyone else was.
Yes, I think it was a PC Gamer article. 10 studios or so have closed down in the past year, all for various reasons. From Vicarious Visions.
From what?
What
you cut out from
the guys who made fucking Dead Space. Like they closed down
Oh,
You mean Visceral?
Visceral. Let's say
Visceral.
Vicarious.
Vicarious. I get Vicarious. Visceral, like they
Visceral.
got closed down. Like Telltale is just another group add to the list of marquee studios that closed down for business reasons or managerial reasons.
Visceral was a sad tale. They would probably close down because they had so many issues with
Dead Space 3 going down,
No,
not selling that well. Well,
they
that
were
was
making
the start
Star
of it.
Wars game.
Yeah,
they were
that
making
too.
this. They were making the Star Wars Uncharted, and I can't remember what it was called.
Well, I think one of the things was that Dead Space 3 sold I think it was like half of what they expected or what they wanted.
Dead Space.
And then they got a lot of shit from that. And then I don't know. It was a lot of things.
I think the Star Wars one is what killed them though, because I remember reading the Schreier piece about it, where they had a lot of issues with making the game. It just wasn't working right. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it. All the prototypes were changing all the time. Nobody was really happy with it. And then at some point, it became obvious that the game wasn't going to get made, and therefore, EA just said bye-bye to the studio. So that was really fucking sad. God, what was it called? What was the name for that? The prototype name for that?
Star Wars?
Okay.
The Visceral Star Wars game. It had a name.
Fuck.
Ragtag.
Ragtag. There we go. I just saw it as soon as you said it.
Yeah. I mean, they just had. Oh yeah, that's right. Because they had a Battlefield.
Hardline.
Whatever that. Yeah, that game sucked.
It did alright. I think it didn't do alright for what it was.
But
I don't think it was good or not. But
then again, it didn't do what they wanted, and that's what they're getting judged on.
Yeah. It's a lot of sad stories in the gaming industry. At least Visceral's one wasn't a hugely managerial issue. It was just like they were just trying to make a huge game that wasn't working, and the studio wasn't working out, and then everything just kind of went to shit.
Yeah.
At least they died without managerial interference, unlike Telltale, who got completely fucked over. It's a sad one.
You know who else got fucked over? And who else? Not dead?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Toys R Us.
Get to it. Yeah, Toys R Us has apparently said we're not going bankruptcy. We're not doing the bankruptcy thing anymore, guys. They cancelled their auction, and they have plans to revive the brand.
One of my buddies, he used to work at Toys R Us. He was like a manager, I think he was close to like a store manager or whatever. And from like even 7, 8, 9 years before it was bound to go bankrupt, quote unquote, he knew it was going to go down that route because of all the terrible decisions the company was making. And eventually, closed down. They laid off everybody. They were liquidating everything, and now. Today,
they're zombies.
They're zombies. It's no longer.
That's like
It wasn't today. It was a few days ago, but even more so.
I want to see Toys R Us turn into a bar, right? With games and action figures, right? Kind of like how Applebee's rebranded. Did you guys hear about that? The freaking Applebee's rebrand. They went from a family restaurant to try to appeal to like young adults. They turned it into like more like a bar kind of more than anything.
No.
So they're trying to attract like college age people who just finished college, right around there, young adults. They're trying to go for the sales of alcohol over a family restaurant.
Wasn't their thing that they were just really shit about making food and like all
something? They still haven't. They're still not doing good. Ever since they like quote unquote changed the menu, changed everything up, pretty shitty. Now, so we'll see how Toys R Us goes. Let's see if they go for the adult bar.
I'm not an expert in like franchise management, but with the Applebee's thing, I think if you're going to try and expand to like a different group of people, like young people, maybe don't do it in a way that pushes away your current audience. Like if you have a family restaurant, maybe don't open up a fucking bar. Like, maybe don't turn it into a bar if you want the family people to keep going there.
Well, it depends on how big the bar is as well. Like, we're talking about like a huge ass bar because most restaurants have a bar. So,
well, yeah, that's the thing. Did they replace the whole vibe, or did they just add a bar? Because if they did the former, then that's not good. If they did the latter, maybe it is good.
Maybe. But anyways, yeah, Toys R Us / Babies R Us being revived. Apparently, they are going for a revive of the brand. whatever the hell that
bring
means.
back Jeffrey the giraffe.
Jeffrey the giraffe is gonna be a zombie now. He's gonna have like
Did
holes.
you see that really sad tweet?
No, I did not.
There was a really sad. Well, I guess it's not so sad anymore. But of Jeffrey the giraffe hanging around in like an abandoned toy store, and he tweeted like, "I guess there's no more Toys R Us kids."
Oh, that's sad.
And
well, it's fine because he's back.
It was sad. Funny fact. I've never been inside Toys R Us.
So back in the day, that for me, that was kind of where I went for my video games. I remember vaguely. I was where I got Pokemon Yellow, which was like my first Pokemon game. So I got Pokemon Yellow, and they gave me like
pre-order games.
They gave me a like it was cool. Like you'd go get the sleeve, and you just go and be like, "Hey, I want this game," and your mom pays for it because she has all the fucking money because you're a kid. And then you get the game, and you're like, "Oh my god, I have Pokemon Yellow," and I played the hell out of that game. So I did that a lot. I bought a bunch of games from Toys R Us. Then GameStop became a thing. Walmart started doing video games.
Oh, you had to go to the freaking Toys R Us game booth, and you're like, "Wow, this is so cool! They got all the games." Back here.
Right. I was like, "Holy shit! I want to be this. I want to have all the games. I want the games for myself.
I want to be Jeffrey the giraffe.
I want to be the
he
giraffe.
gets to stay here overnight and play all the games."
But then I don't know what exactly happened. Like I guess video games became more and more prevalent, and kids didn't really care about toys anymore. I guess that's what it came down to. And then
I think there's been like articles for a couple of years about Toys R Us's decline, and I think from what I remember, most of them attribute it to services like Amazon, because Amazon is obviously a much easier way of getting things than that you would from Toys R Us.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to go through an entire toy store or whatever. You just look up the item, boom, you have it.
Yeah,
plus it's probably sometimes cheaper. You get in like a day or two.
It's cheaper, it's easier. So I think, and plus, Toys R Us obviously wasn't like Walmart, for example, sells a lot of things and is a huge brand itself, and it sells a lot of things. Whereas Toys R Us basically only sold a certain type of thing. You only went into Toys R Us if you wanted some kind of toy or game or
a board game or something like that. They had board games too.
But if you go into Walmart, you can get, you could come out with either a chainsaw, an assault rifle, or a piece of craft. So
it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because the day of toys has long gone. I feel.
Well, it's not gone. It's just that it's different now. I think you're underestimating how.
I say that, but Disney Infinity was a huge thing for a while, and now it's pretty much like a toy game.
Yeah, I think we're not kids,
Skylanders.
so we can't really know how well toys are doing. It's not really our area. But, I mean, the amount of fucking toy YouTube channels. If that business ain't booming with those fucking YouTube channels, then what the hell is going on? Have you seen those fucking channels?
I've heard of it.
Where people like unbox like new kids' toys and stuff, and they get like a huge audience from, I guess, just kids.
Kids, yeah, it has like millions of views just from people opening. Like, what was it like?
There is no fucking way that the toy industry is on its knees, because holy shit!
I just realized I think the last thing I bought from Toys R Us
was a TED Talk for that. Actually,
I bought Mario Odyssey, Skyrim, and what was it Breath of the Wild, like a few months before they closed. That was the last thing I bought from them.
Why'd you get it from Toys R Us?
Because they had like a 2-for-1, buy two get one free sale.
Did you miss Jeffrey? You want to go and see him?
Yeah, I missed the giraffe. But they had a buy two get one free sale on Switch games. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Did you see any toys while you were there?
No, it was all online.
Oh,
I just
I you're not gonna go there in person. Then what's the point?
Dude, is there toys? There weren't any Toys R Us around here.
Well,
I think the nearest one was like an hour away. I ain't driving that far. Forget that. I'm lazy.
Well, I mean, I'd never even been in one, so I might have to go.
Now you have your chance, Joe. Now there's gonna be another one coming soon to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work out, and B, if they're gonna be around here for a while.
They also had Babies R Us. I forgot about that too. I never really written there, so I can't really say.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of that. Never heard of that in my life. I guess that must.
I don't know.
I guess that must just be like I mean, pretty obviously stuff for babies. I don't know why I started on that one. It's pretty obvious what it is.
Assumingly it's for babies.
But I don't know if it's like toys or just like, milk bottles and towels and stuff.
In which case, Walmart does that, if not better. So,
yeah, and that's kind of that was put forward as one of the main reasons for Toys R Us and other stores like it decline, because there were so many places like Amazon where it's easier and cheaper and faster to get the thing that you wanted, and also you could get more stuff on Amazon or in Walmart, for instance, than you could in Toys R Us. If you go to Toys R Us, you go for a very specific purpose, whereas Amazon and Walmart or other shops are available, etc. Are far more varied, and you can get more stuff there. So of course you spend more time there, and you kind of just forget about Jeffrey the giraffe.
Rest in peace,
until
Jeffrey
now.
the giraffe.
So I wonder how that's gonna do.
That's quite.
I wonder what made them change their mind.
It was obviously someone like bought everything out, like some investor, like someone had to have. So someone's crazy enough to think that this could happen again. Or
did a Toys R Us kid who's like really rich be like, hell no, bring that back?
I remember Toys R Us. I want that.
Toys R Us.
They're like, he's like, I want that toy, and he gets the entire fucking toy store.
Yeah. He misunderstood how the contract. He just wanted like the toy dinosaur, but he misread the contract, and now he has Toys R Us. The whole thing.
Me. That'd be me.
I mean, yeah, same. I would absolutely I would accidentally buy a store for sure. I'm not good at anything.
Oh Lord have mercy. Oh yeah, we'll see. We've been going for holy shit, hour and a half, almost hour and 45 minutes. Damn. I think. I think that's. Hope you guys enjoyed. I guess I think we can cut it there.
That was very abrupt ending.
Right. Like I didn't realize that we were going for so long. Holy shit! But we were talking about a lot of stuff too. Hope you guys enjoyed. Somewhat, hopefully, maybe, probably not.
The only critical fail gaming podcast. This will be the only one we ever make.
Only one.
Yeah, unless like KOTOR 3 comes out and we just make a 5-minute video on it. It's like, oh yeah, KOTOR 3 came out. Video ends.
Hey guys, KOTOR 3, and that's it.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that SWTOR though? I think that's SWTOR.
No, SWTOR is like KOTOR 0.2. Or no,
0.2.
No, wait.
2.2.
KOTOR 0.5.
Oh.
Final ring.
Oh, wait. It's 0.5 is that's where you're gonna put it. It's 0.5.
Well, because it's like it's in between its own thing and KOTOR, so it's a 0.5. It's in the middle.
Okay. So if BioWare comes out and says KOTOR 3 for realsies, you're gonna be hyped and you're gonna make a 5-minute video.
I would be pretty hyped, and I would indeed make
I think the internet would
video.
implode too, because a lot of people want KOTOR 3.
Yeah, well, people don't really like BioWare these days, apparently, so maybe they'd be a bit
Well, they're
suspicious.
dumb, so...
Oh, man, how do you
That's
think...
my hot take. That's my hot take.
How do you think... Oh my god, this is a good sign. I can't remember what it's called. Their fucking MMO's gonna go.
Oh, Anthem?
Anthem, there we go.
So I have Origin Premiere, so I pretty much get it instantly. So I'll get a chance to play it whenever it comes out, which is pretty cool.
How do you think it'll do?
How I think it'll do? So it looks interesting, and I do still believe in BioWare. Like, these are the same guys who made Mass Effect, which, that's one of my favorite series of all time. Andromeda happened, but, well,
It happened.
It happened. And it wasn't really, I guess, it wasn't really the main BioWare people we know. It was like, a different studio under the name of BioWare. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was BioWare Montreal.
Yeah, so I think the main BioWare team is working on Anthem. So I believe in them.
Also, if you want to know what went wrong with Anthem,
Anthem.
with Andromeda, there is another great Jason Schreier piece on Kotaku about it, where they go into detail about why the game went wrong. Spoilers, it's not because all the developers are SJWs or because all the developers are lazy or shitty. It's just because, again, there was a lot of managerial issues.
And the engine sucked.
And the engine was actually kind of The engine itself is fine. It just doesn't lend itself very well to.
That's what I mean.
RPGs.
That's what I mean. It's a fine engine, but it doesn't do well for RPGs.
It was developed explicitly for things that are very much not RPGs, and Dragon Age Inquisition is in Schreier's book, and one of the examples they mention as to how bad the engine is, Frostbite for RPGs, is that they couldn't. By default, it didn't have the feature to look behind yourself, so you couldn't go into first person, because it wasn't written into the code that you wouldn't be in third person. So they had to explicitly add into the engine the ability to like be in first person and see behind you, because the engine just wouldn't let anyone look behind you as a character because it wasn't built for it.
So, as you would imagine,
it didn't even have manual saving. It didn't even have manual saving.
Rewriting engines are very difficult and time consuming and costly in terms of money.
As we learned from DayZ.
That's another piece I would like to hear about from Schreier someday.
Those legendary facial animations were also another weird issue that kind of just happened and wasn't really anyone's.
We won't spoil it all because it's he talks about it in his article, so you should definitely.
It's really great. You should watch it. Once again, not because everyone in BioWare Montreal or BioWare in general is just kind of shitty, lazy developers. It's because sometimes shit happens.
But for Anthem,
sometimes shit go wrong.
I believe in them. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm cautiously optimistic because I got burned really, really fucking hard with Destiny 2. I was so fucking hyped. And I feel like I'm the same way with Division 2. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, people are hyping it up, and I'm like, people hyped up Destiny 2 as well, and that didn't happen. So I'm kind of I'm hyped for it in a way, but I'm also very careful about what might happen. I'm kind of the same way like you were with Fallout 76 at first. Was that you were hoping it would be good, but you were like, there's some things that you're not too sure about yet. I'm on that line right now. So I can't really say. It comes out in like what, March, February,
March,
something like that.
There's something in Anthem that really made me interested, and it was at the E3 conference, the really shitty EA one at the end, where they talked about essentially nothing, and then showed the same concept art pieces over and over and over again for about 10 minutes, and then showed some gameplay, and it didn't seem very confident. And I know that's probably just me being, an ice skating judge and talking complete shit, but it made me wonder if maybe it's going to be lit or not.
I remember vaguely that Andromeda had something similar, where they didn't really have much to show.
They weren't showing
all
much.
The way up to release.
No, because there was nothing.
That's why I'm partially cautiously optimistic, because it sounds amazing, but I don't know enough on
There's no romances though.
I mean, I don't give a fuck.
What the fuck? What do you mean? 50% of all BioWare games is romance.
I don't give a flying. What?
About?
Okay, fair enough.
Fucking my Bastila, my Ashley, my Miranda,
Tali.
Tali.
I'm a Tali girl. I'm a Tali man myself.
What's fucking
Liara?
Oh, Christ, what's the name of the guy in this is really embarrassing because it's my favorite game. What's the name of the guy in Knights of the Old Republic 2? Oh, Atten, that was it. We've got fucking Atten, although that wasn't BioWare, never mind.
I was strictly for Tali, so can't really say what else. Maybe they are, but
any BioWare game without romance is, as far as I'm concerned, 50% not BioWare.
Fair.
So there you go. That's my hot take.
That's your hot take. Well, my hot take is
DFGP.
Well, we've been going a lot longer. I've been saying this for a while. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the first, it possibly last. I mean, probably won't be last.
Possibly
podcast.
Possibly. He says.
We'll see if we can make this a thing.
And we'll see if we can make this a thing. At least, hopefully, maybe we'll see.
Oh, don't do that. Don't commit to that. You will regret it.
I already committed to it. Like I said in the last podcast.
Mistake. What he actually, because he just bleeped that. What he actually said was once every.
Well, I just bleeped that. I actually said once every 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna forget. I'm gonna forget to bleep that out somehow. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.
Goodbye.